This is Alex Sineg, and we are online and ready to get started with the session today. Hopefully everybody is going to be utilizing material. You should have printed this out. This should have been printed out already. This information is for the document that you're going to need. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a little exercise, and I want everybody to participate on this exercise. The exercise is going to be a timed event so that you get to participate. Now, if you don't have that sheet of paper, you won't be able to participate in it. You're just going to have to listen to it and understand how it works. Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing. What we're going to be doing is I'm going to get onto my little stopwatch and figure this. And you should have this sheet. Now you should also have a pen in front of you. Make sure you got a pen and you can do this thing. So here's what we're going to do. And obviously I can't see you because I usually do this as a live event. Okay. Now I know some of you are wondering who I am. So before I get started in this, let me give you a little bit of background about myself. I emigrated from Hungary in 1963. I ended up in Canada. I arrived on October 31st, which is Halloween. Didn't speak a word of English. Didn't understand what it was all about. And then what happened is we put on these little masks, and we were taught some English, some script. And the script was, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. And the reason I'm telling you this story, because this is going to lead into the training today. I'm also giving you a little opportunity to make sure you print out the information. But it was Halloween, and we learned that language. Trick or treat, give me something good to eat. So we got this big bag, put on some mask, and went from door to door knocking on doors and saying, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. That's the way I used to speak before I actually learned how to speak English. And people gave us free candy, and we were excited, and things were, fantastic. It was incredible. People, I got home to my friend's place who were Hungarians, and they taught us the English language, and it was fantastic. And so the next night, my brother and I got dressed again, and we went out again. What we did was put our masks on, and around 5 o'clock went out again. And we noticed that there was not any competition out there yet, so we figured we got there before everybody else did. And my brother and I went to the first door, knocked on the door, and asked, we said, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. And the lady looked at us confused. She was saying a bunch of words, and we didn't understand what she was saying. We just kept saying our script, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. And finally she gave up, went to the kitchen, got some candy, threw it in the bag. Went to the next door, did the same thing. A man came to the door, and he looked angry. He was raising his voice with us. He didn't look like he was happy to see us. So we were frustrated with the whole situation, and he slammed the door in our face. And I said to my brother, they were much nicer yesterday. This went on for about an hour. We got a few pieces of candy. We got yelled at a lot. And we ended up going home, and our friends laughed at us. And we didn't realize that Halloween wasn't every day. But I tell you this, for those of you on the line, this is an important lesson because I learned 3 very crucial lessons that day. Lesson number 1 was that if you persist, some people will respond positively because some people gave us candy. The second lesson we learned is this, that if you don't let people talk you out of your dreams, you can become a success. And what happened was we didn't speak English, so they couldn't talk us out of our dream, which the dream was we wanted candy. And the third lesson we learned, the right script, even on the wrong day, is going to work. So I just wanted you to get that information. And, for all you realtors and mortgage people and anybody that's on the line, if you take those 3 things into, your mind, it can help you with your business. Now, let's take a look at what we have over here. What we have over here, and I was exposed to personality profiles in 1983 when I entered into real estate. And what was interesting about that is that I got into real estate in 1983. For the first 6 months I didn't make any money at all, nothing. The only house I sold was my own because I couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. And that was it. And 1983 interest rates were 17, 18, 19%. But I couldn't make any sales. And the reason my business changed is because I went to a training with Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy that wrote all those books. And he did this training on personalities. And once I've gone through the personalities and understood the personalities, because what today is about is understanding personality profiles. Once I understood that, it was May 24th weekend. In the next 9 days, I went out and I sold 13 properties. Now what's interesting is the market didn't change, the interest rate didn't change, the customers didn't change. What changed is me. I changed. I became much more aware, understanding who I was dealing with. And one of the things I heard many years ago is that the golden rule, and the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't work very well in sales, because if you do unto others as you want it done to you, what that means is that you want people to, you're going to treat people the way you want to be treated, and they may not want to be treated that way. So we have a platinum rule in our company, and what we say is that do unto others as they want it done. So once I learned all of this information, I became very successful. In the next 6 months, I sold 100 properties, and I proceeded to sell 100 properties a year for 30 years. So I sold over 3,000 properties. So I also got certified to do the personality profiles. I teach this course. I wrote a book on it, which I'll talk about later. And it became very helpful for me, both in my personal life and my business life. My relationships got better with my children, my spouse, friends around, my business associates, and my business got better. I made more money, I worked less hours, and I didn't strain myself. Now, hopefully by now you have this sheet of paper. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this exercise, and what's going to be really cool about this exercise is you're going to take this sheet of paper, and don't look at it right now, just kind of look away from the paper, and what I'm going you to do in 1 minute, circle all the numbers in sequence. So you're going to go to number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and 5, and so on. You're going to have 1 minute, and don't start yet. And when I say to you, go, you start, and when I say stop, you're going to stop. And then we'll see how far you got, okay? So let's get started. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, go ahead and start. I started my timer, and it's counting down, and you need to look at that sheet and start circling the numbers. So circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, and let's see how far you get. No, don't circle the whole thing and say you got it all, because that's wrong. All I want you to do is circle one at a time in sequence, starting at number 1. It's not a trick question, it's not a trick comment, and basically it is designed for you to learn something very, very valuable. So, it's ticking down. We've got 26 seconds, 25 seconds, 24 seconds. It's ticking down, and you keep searching, you keep looking, you keep trying to find this thing and find the numbers. And so let's see how far you're going to get in the 1 minute. Right now, we are at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay? There goes my timer. Stop. Now some of you, I don't know how far you got, but did anybody get 25 or more? You can type it into the little chat box and say I got more than 25. You got maybe 30, maybe you got 17, you got 10, you got 4, whatever. It doesn't really matter, because this is not an intelligence test, and it's not an IQ test, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just an exercise. Now, I want you to understand something. There is actually a methodology to this. There is actually a sequence to this. So let's take a look at the next screen. Okay, here comes the next screen. Right? And there's actually a pattern. Now watch the pattern. If you take your sheet and you divide it beside, as you can see, beside the 66 and 84, a straight line down, and then above 79 and 80, a straight line across. Now you got 4 quarters. Once you look at these 4 quarters, here's what you're going to discover. This is really interesting. That number 1 is in that quadrant, number 2 is in that quadrant, number 3 is in this quadrant, number 4 is in that quadrant. Guess where number 5 is? Correct. It's up there. Isn't that interesting? So there's a sequence the way the numbers go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this exercise again. And what I want you to do this time, okay, no cheating. You can't start at the end. You have to go back to number 1. And what you're going to do is you're going to put a red X inside number 1 and go count again and see how far you get this time. Now don't start yet. I didn't say start. This is instruction time. Okay, let's stick with me. All right, so you're going to go back to number 1. Keep Xing, and then when you get to the number, like some people say 25, all you're going to do is go to 26. Don't have to circle it and exit. All you do is just put an X and continue Xing it. All right, let's go. All right, I just started the clock. 58 seconds, 56 seconds. Let's see how far you get this time. Again, just look at the pattern, understand the pattern, and all you do is it's so much easier to find the numbers when you understand how the pattern works. This is a really cool exercise. I've done this many, many times with people in my trainings. And it really opens up people's eyes and they get to understand on how the sequence works. They're pretty excited about it. Okay, and we're on to 25 seconds. You still got lots of time, but you should be able to do better than you did the first time. All right, it's the whole idea is that once you understand the pattern, you will do better. And I'm going to give you instructions here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. There's my clock. Okay, now, how many of you got more than you did the first time? You should have all got at least somewhat further than the first time. Did anybody can type in how much more you got? Did you get double? Did you get triple? Did you get 10 more? Did you get 5 more? Wow, look at that. 40, 49. Wow, isn't that amazing? Double. Some people got double the amount. Now, there is a reason why we did this exercise. First of all, this really goes into personalities and understanding personalities. Here's the way it is, okay? Now take a look at this sheet over here. Now you have this sheet in front of you, and you see that at the top it says outgoing. At the bottom it says reserved. On the right hand side it says people on the border, and on the left hand side it says task. Basically, some people are outgoing. We have inside of us, we have this motor that goes boom, 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 and it's outgoing, loud noise, fast. Some of us, it's slower, it's quiet, as fast, okay, so you're either outgoing or you're reserved. We also have a compass inside of us. This compass either takes us towards people or toward task. So you've got people on the right and you got task on the left. So you're either outgoing and task-oriented, you're outgoing and people-oriented, you're reserved and people-oriented, or you're reserved and task-oriented. And I'm going to break all this down for you, give you some words to go with it to describe these personalities. And the thing that you need to understand and be very clear about is that once you start thinking about this and applying this information, it's going to increase your relationships and your communication with every single person that you come across in your life. So let's take a look at it. I hope you got this sheet. I hope you're ready to fill it in. All right, let's start. Okay, so outgoing and task-oriented, which is the D-type personality. Okay, now the D's are described by these words. And these are the words, and you're going to notice that they all start with the letter D. Dominant. These people are very dominant. They're very aggressive. They're very direct. Direct is very bottom line. I mean, over the years, what I noticed is that I am very direct, okay? That's just my style. So I get right to the point, and people say to me, well, you're rude. Well, I'm not rude. I'm kind of short and getting to the point, and I'm very direct. And sometimes people that are not that way, they equate it out to be rude. I said, okay, well, that's an opinion that people have. Here's the second one. Demanding. Very, very demanding. Now, by the way, here's the thing you need to understand. Once you see these personalities, because I'm breaking them down individually, the D, I, S, and the C, you all have all four of these personalities inside of you. The question is to what degree, okay? And you can take tests on this, and I'll be directing you to a website that you can always take a test. And it's really cool when you really understand this, okay? Now, here it goes. Decisive. These people are very decisive. And what I love about these individuals is when I'm out there selling real estate, and by the way, I'm still licensed. I've been in business 32 years, and I still go out there and do some deals sometimes, you know, so take some listings and buyers out. And I love the real estate business. I think it's fantastic. I love selling. I love interacting with the people. I love helping people, you know, get what they're looking for. And I love these kind of people, the D's, when I'm dealing with them, because they don't do a lot of talking. They just say, okay, this is what I want, and they know what they want, and they can make a decision. And that makes it so much more powerful if you can recognize this personality. They're very determined, very driven people. They are doers. They're not talkers, they're doers. Now, here's what we need to understand. It doesn't matter what your personality level is. Everybody has an Achilles heel, a weak spot, an area of what I call a little problem or challenge area. Okay? And the D's have this personality, some people call it personality flaw. I don't think it's really a flaw. You know, of course I'm a D, so I wouldn't think it's a flaw. What I think it is, it's a challenge. And what the D's are, they're defiant. What does that mean? Well, to me, it's like when I'm driving on the road, I think that the speed limit is a suggestion. I mean, you know, they didn't involve me in that decision-making process. So I said, okay, you want me to go at 70? So if I'm close, you know, 80, 90, whatever, you know, it should be up to me. But we're very defiant. We don't like rules. We don't like systems. We don't like bosses. That's the reason I'm in real estate. That's the reason I like to work for myself. And also, D personalities are usually leaders. They're usually out in front, okay, and they're very driven. So these are the words that describe this personality. So if these words fit you, okay, guess what? What you can do is you can just say, okay, that could be me, all right? And I'm going to describe all four personalities, and then you can decide which one is the best one that describes you. All right. I like to win. Now you can fill in those blanks. You have the sheet in front of you, and the first one it says I like to win. So what you need to understand about the D's is they like to win. They want to be the boss. They like to win. They also like to plan for the future. They're not for today. They're visionaries usually. They look to the future. They want to have new ideas. So when you're showing a house to a D, don't say this is like everybody else's house, because they want it to be different. Okay, and by the way, Wednesday we're going to do the second part to this training on how to apply all this information. I'm going to show you how to apply it. Today, the whole session is about understanding the personalities. I want you to really get the feel for it. Okay? I like results. So when you're dealing with a D personality, they want bottom line. They like results. They like to be their own boss. So for me, because I'm such a high D personality, I have to be very careful when I'm dealing with a D personality that I'm showing house to, or I'm getting a listing from, because they usually like to be the decision maker. So there is verbiage that you use, which I've written, and also on Wednesday I'm going to show you how to apply it a lot better. I'm going to give you the mechanics of it. Okay? I like to move fast. They talk fast, they move fast, so you can start to visually see if a person is a D personality. How would you recognize this personality? Well, they walk in, they walk fast, they're very upright, they reach their hand out, they're going to shake your hand, they're really kind of in your face kind of an individual, okay? And I like a challenge. So that describes the D personalities. And I mean, this is just some basic description. So some of you are sitting over there going, well, that could be me. All right? And that's excellent. Now let's take a look at the outgoing, the next outgoing individual, which is the I-type personality. Oh, by the way, there's 10%. Luckily for all of us, there's only 10% of the population are D-type personalities. outgoing and people-oriented. This is the I-type personality. The I-type personalities, as you can see by that picture, they're more fun-loving, talkative, and outgoing type individuals. Here's what they are. They're inspiring. They are influencing. They're impressionable. I'll tell you this. I-type personalities are probably the best salespeople usually, if they can stay on track and keep their schedule going and they can stay focused on one thing, because sometimes they're so impressionable, they're like, woohoo, there's a shiny thing over there. So what you want to do is, if you start to identify with this, you know what I'm talking about. You have certain things that, you need to be more grounded. They are more interesting. And they become interested in people. They love to talk. They love to communicate with people. They're very impressive. Usually they dress nice. They usually want people to notice them. You can tell an I personality. They walk fast, they talk a mile a minute, and they dress for the game. They really dress up. What else are they? They're involved. Okay? They get involved. They get into social things and all that. And on Wednesday, when I talk about this, I'm going to tell you exactly how to sell to them precisely and what words and what techniques to utilize to deal with these type of individuals. Okay? However, again, like the D's, they have a flaw. They have a challenge. They have an Achilles heel, something that holds them back a little bit, that causes problems for them. And what is that? It's called illogical. They're not very logical. Most I-type personalities are not good with directions. They're not good with paperwork. For example, we joke around the office that I's don't file, they pile. They got big piles of stuff on the desk. My wife is an I personality. I have so much fun with her. She came home the other day with like 4 bags from the office with all these files. And then, I walk into the kitchen. There's files on the center island. There's files on the table. There's files on the bar. There's files everywhere. She kind of organized her files, kind of spread them out, but they're illogical. They're a lot of fun to be around, but again, their organization skills are, they're not good with directions, for example. All right. If you tell them exactly where to go, I always have fun with that. She is the sweetest woman ever, but sometimes she'll say, well, turn left over here, and I turn right because it could be the wrong way. Anyways, I think that GPS was invented for these people, okay, for the eyes. I know, if you're an I personality, I'm not making fun of you because you're probably laughing with me. You're having fun with this. Eyes, I love the eyes. Probably my favorite people of all the groups are the I personalities. As a matter of fact, in my relationship, my wife is an ID personality. She's a very outgoing, fun individual, but she's no pushover. She's strong, smart businesswoman, but at the same time, she's also very much as a fun individual. So that make really good salespeople, especially if they're ID personalities, because they can communicate with people. They're not afraid to talk to people. They can talk to everybody. Everybody loves them. And if they also have the D, then they're driven and they get results. So, that actually describes my wife, who's an ID type personality. Now, what do they like? They like to be liked. They can say, love me, love, 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 love me. Okay, so they really like to be liked. They would like to be the center of attention. They like to be the fun of the party. The person that makes everybody laugh and everybody, happy. They like to express their ideas and feelings. Now, I really want you to think about this. Feelings. These people make decisions based on not facts. See, the D's were people-oriented, okay, or I should say outgoing and task-oriented. These folks are people-oriented. So these people make decisions based on feelings, how they feel about something. They're a lot more emotional than the D personalities. So a lot of times people say, D personalities, you don't look like you care. I go, of course I care. Not that much, but I care. Okay? I personalities, they want to make everybody happy. They want everybody to smile. They want everybody to have fun. fun. They're really nice with people. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I have an appointment with somebody that I know they're going to be a high I personality. I don't go to the appointment. I send my wife because she's better at that stuff. She'll talk to them, she'll have coffee with them, she'll talk about the kids and the dog and the cat and the birds and all that kind of stuff. Whereas me, I'm like, all right, sign the contract, let's go, let's go, let's go. So again, it's just a different approach to that personality style. What else do they like? They like and love being in front of a group. Like I said, they like to be the center of attention. They love people looking at them, talking about them, interacting with them, and they're very good presenters. As a matter of fact, we shoot some videos. We've shot many videos, and I'm very good on video. I have a website, and you can see some of my videos. And over the years, I've done trainings from 2 people in a room to 10,000 people in a room. I worked for a major franchise many years ago, and I was in a Las Vegas convention, and I was in front of 1,000 people doing a presentation. So I love being in front of a group also because I'm a DI personality. Actually, I'm a DIC personality, and because I like detail also, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But we like being in front of a group. I like people to present to. I like the bigger the group, the happier I am. I love large groups of people. So that's my I side of my personality. And a lot of times, I actually have a lot more fun when I'm being more of an I than the D. Because the D part sometimes scares people a little bit. I know that Ds are so aggressive, we have to tone it down a little bit. So if you're a D, tone it down a little bit. If you're an I, you might have to turn it up a little bit from a standpoint of getting decisions made. What else do the I personalities like? They like surprises. They love surprises. As a matter of fact, my wife is an ID type personality. Like I said, sometimes I surprise her. I forget stuff. Surprise! I forgot that. Anyways, they love surprises. They like, gifts and surprises and flowers and cards and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you really want to get along with an I personality, plan a party, okay, or do some kind of a surprise. Sometimes I say to my wife, I said, honey, I got a surprise for you. She goes, what is it? I said, well, I can't tell you because it's a surprise. So I get her keep thinking about it for days, and they're like anxious, but they love when the surprise actually shows up. What else do they like? They like lots of fun activities. So I see that there's a bunch of brokers on the line. I see that there's agents on the line. If you're a broker and you got a bunch of eyes in your office, make the office fun. They want to have a lot of fun. Don't make it boring, not too detailed, okay? And you got to create an environment of fun. That's what these people like. I know I've been to offices. I've trained thousands of realtors, okay, across North America, Canada, and the U.S. because I lived in Canada for many years. Now I actually live in Florida. I moved to 2002. I'm a citizen, so I have both citizenships. And I love it in the south, especially with that snowstorms up in the north. So I see some of you are from the north. Well, sorry about that. I got tired of it after 40 some odd years. Anyways, so lots of fun activities. So you want to create an environment where there is a lot of fun. And when you go on a listing presentation, you need to recognize that so that when you present in a certain way that it's fun for these individuals. And on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how to create that environment and how to make sure these people get excited about you. What else? They like recognition. So funny. With these personalities, if they win a trophy or a ribbon or something, all you brokers out there, make a big deal in front of the whole group, the whole company. They love that. They like that. You paste their face and their picture and their information on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and wherever you can put it. You need to really recognize these people because they look for that. They love that. They say, oh, that's me. Woohoo, that's me. I love to be recognized. So what percentage of people are I personalities? They're 25 to 30% are I-type personalities. As you can see, it's a much larger group, which is great because we need more fun in this world. We don't need all those D's causing trouble or creating havoc or anything like that, and being aggressive. We need a lot of fun people. So I love the I personalities. Like I said, they're probably my favorite group out of the 4 groups. And again, for you to understand, we all have all 4 personalities, except to what degree. Okay, and you just need to understand that. And when you go through all this information, you're going to be able to connect with that. Okay, let's take a look at the next group, which is the S personalities. As you can see on your sheet, you have the S personalities at the bottom right. Okay, here I talked about, the understanding the pattern. These are just about the nice, really nice. And here are the words that describe just a happy, peaceful, quiet, nice place. Okay, all right. So steady. They're very steady individuals. What else describes them? They're stable. Very, very stable individuals. These people are the salt of the earth. They're very, yes, the nicest people you ever want to meet. They like status quo. They don't like change. And these are very difficult people to sell to. The reason is because they would like to move, but not really. Okay? They want to move, but they don't really want to move. So, when you really think about it, you go, wow, they are having a hard time making a decision. Okay? They're very shy. Very, very shy individuals. And just like the other 2 groups, they do have a Achilles heel. What is their Achilles heel? Well, I know I'm going to use a word here. You might, especially if you're an S personality, you're going to say, well, that's not very nice. Okay? Well, here it is. All right? They're a sucker. We go, wow, that's not nice. Well, the truth is they can't say no to people. They want to please everybody. They want to be nice to everybody. They love everybody. So they want everybody to like them. Very nice, and they're sweet, and they like to sacrifice, and they like to do everything for everybody. I know this individual really, really well because I got married when I was very, very young, and I married a lady who is this S personality. Nicest person you ever want to meet. We were very different, and if you understand, opposites attract, but opposites also attack. So, S personalities, somebody said to me, who's an S, they say, you're just like a hammer. You're a D, you're a hammer. Well, when you're a nail, everybody's a hammer, and when you're a hammer, everybody's a nail. So we just need to understand personality, and we need to be able to deal with it and really connect with them, because again, they're also feeling, or they like to be accepted. They want to make sure there is teamwork and cooperation. They love to cooperate with other people. They love to interact with people, and they're very good at working in a team. The D's don't work good in a team. The D's want to take charge of every team. They want to be the boss. They want to order everybody around. Whereas the S personalities, they're great supporters. They're great team players. They just love being in a group, being in a team. Their motto is, one for all for one. Okay, they sit around the office sometimes holding hands, saying "Kumbaya." I'm just kidding. But the reality of it is, they're very good team players. This is their thing. They also like sticking with what works. One of the things I love about S personalities, which is fantastic, is that once I teach them something that works, they stick with it. The I's don't stick with stuff. That's one of their flaws too, is that they don't stick with things. They're a lot of fun to be around, but they bounce from one thing to the other. Okay, they have a lot of unfinished books, unfinished projects, unfinished information. S's, they stick with stuff. You show them something, and they can just continue doing it. They don't mind the tedious, what I would call boring work, because they will stick to it. Okay, what else do they like? They like harmony. They don't want any problems in the office. They don't want, things to go wrong. They don't want people to create havoc. They don't, they have a hard time with D personalities. And I know us Ds, we have a hard time with S's. Every time I deal with them, I have to go like this. I have to take a deep breath. I have to leash. I have to, take it easy. I can't push. I can't rush. I can't be aggressive. I just have to be very, very careful. What else do they like? They like lots of fun, they like things to stay the same, they like things to stay the same, actually. They like also appreciation. Love appreciation. That's different than the eyes. The eyes, you know what they like, the eyes? They like recognition. What recognition is, you tell somebody, you did a fantastic job, get them in front of the room, shake their hand, give them a trophy, everybody claps. That says you don't do that with. I had a real estate office many years ago up in Canada, and I had a young lady work for me. Her name was Dorothy, okay? Last name, I don't know if she knows. But 1 month, she was the top agent in my company. And you know what happened? I got up in front of the room, I gave her a trophy, I patted her on the back, everybody clapped. She never did it again. A couple of months later, I said to her, you did so well that month. What happened? She goes, oh, you made such a fuss. She says, I don't like that. So she decided not to do a lot of sales because she didn't want to get up in front of the room and be recognized. She wanted to be appreciated. Once I learned that and I understood that, I would go into her office and say, you did a great job. I'd pat her on the back. I was talking to her very nicely, non-aggressively. I didn't make a big deal out of it, didn't put her name up in lights, and she was happy about that. What percent of the population is that? 30 to 35% of the population is S-type personalities. Now let's go to the last group, C's. And if you talk to a C, you said, they say to you, you save the best for last. They are reserved and task-oriented. They're the kind of people that like to ponder things. Well, let's take a look at the words that describe these individuals. The word is cautious. A-U-T-I-O-U-S. And I spelled that for the benefit of the eyes. I'm just kidding. But C personalities are very careful. They're very calculating. Okay? Everything to be very, very accurate. They're very competent. It's not that the other group is incompetent, but these people are very precise, like I said, so they're more competent in general speaking than the other group. Conscientious. They're very conscientious. They're very, careful, conscientious, competent. They want to make it correct. They want to make sure everything is, just the way it's supposed to be. Okay? Contemplative. They think about stuff. Now, one of the tough things about selling to C personalities, they also have a hard time making a decision. The reason is because they can argue both sides of the equation. They do is they analyze things, they look at it, and if you're an agent and you're doing a CMA, please, you don't need to do a 200-page CMA. I worked with agents that would, do the CMA by weight, okay? They would count the bricks in the house and do it by weight, okay? And one of the things about C personalities, they're always getting ready to begin, to get started, to get going, to get moving. Just get it done because they're such perfectionists. They want everything to be correct, so they have a hard time getting started sometimes. They also usually do one thing at a time. I've had many agents in my office who were C personalities. They take one listing and they baby it to death, just like the S's used to do that. I said, go get another listing. He said, well, I got to make sure the flyer is correct and the sign is straight, and I got to make sure the house is immaculate. And they just wanted everything to be perfect. It is a good character to have, but it can also create a problem sometimes. What else are they? They're very careful, like I said earlier. They're very careful individuals. Now, they do have an Achilles heel. The Achilles heel is, that part that may hold them back a little bit. And here's their Achilles heel. They appear to be cold. They appear to be emotionless. We call it a poker face. As a matter of fact, I lived in Vegas for 7 years. I used to go play poker sometimes at some of the casinos. And I'll tell you, I used to not like these people because they'd sit there. You could never tell what's going on with them. You're sitting at the table. There's 10 people sitting at the table. You got the C personalities. It's like total poker face. You can't even tell. You almost have to poke them to see if they're alive. The I personalities, they go, woohoo, I got all red. Oh, look at all these hearts I got. You can tell exactly on their face or their reaction what they have. C personalities, nothing, nada, okay? I had a buddy of mine, one time I said to him, I said, hey man, are you excited? Are you feeling good? He goes, yeah, I am. I said, why don't you notify your face, tell your face. And C personalities are very accurate, very careful, very calculating, and they're very much detail-oriented. They're task-oriented. They like to be right. I don't know if you remember the D's. The D's like to win, and the C's like to be right. And I'll tell you this, if you have a person who's a DC or CD personality, they're the most difficult people to sell to because they want to win, and they want to be right, and generally they are right. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you're dealing with this type of individual. Because like I said, everybody's a mixture. We all have all four, but usually one is really dominant, and then a lot of times two is very dominant, and you can see it. What else do they like? They like to know what is expected of them. Okay? They want very, very established patterns. They want to see exactly how things work. They don't want mysteries. They don't want surprises. They want detailed instructions. They want, they want a manual. They want to make sure everything adds up. So when you're dealing with this personality, like I said, I'm going to be talking about this on Wednesday. These individuals, they have to be very, they need a CME that's 200 pages long. Okay, you need to tell them everything. You need to tell them all the utilities, and you need to tell them all the details about the house, and you have to make sure your comps are precise. And they probably did research on the properties on their own on the internet already, so they may even be smarter than you or me. So you need to make sure you're equipped. They like clear instructions. They want to know exactly what you want them to do. So with them, you got to give them options, but you got to make it such a way that they understand what's the best instruction and the best information for them. They're like finishing what I start, okay? They finish what they start. Now you look across to the other side on your sheet there, the I personalities, they don't finish stuff. They got a lot of unfinished business, whereas these individuals, they finish everything, they're detail-oriented. I've got a buddy of mine who's a high C personality. In his garage, he's got one of those pegboards that has the tools on it. You know what's really cool about that is? The pegboard is white. He's got the tools hanging there, and he's got a black outline of all the tools. One time I was messing with him. I went into his house, and I grabbed one of the tools, and I moved it. He walks out, looks at the board, he goes, who touched my tools? He could see instantly. I know some of you C's are on the line going, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to get me one of those boards. And they like organizing things. They're very detailed, very organized, they're very precise. What percentage of the population is C personalities? 3 to 25%. Now I want to pause here for a second, and I want you to think. The D's were 10%. The C's are 20 to 25%. So if you add those two numbers together, it comes out to 35%. So 35% of the population makes decisions based on information, facts, and details. If you look at the other side, the I's are about 25 to 30%, the S's are 30 to 35%. What that means is that 65% of the population makes decisions based on feelings and relationships. So you need to understand that you need to be very good at building relationships, generating the feelings or triggering the feelings with these individuals. So again, 35% make decisions, facts, details, information, charts, graphs, and stuff like that, and 65% makes an emotion, feelings, rapport, people that they have to like you. It doesn't have to make sense to deal with you. I've been in appointments where I go in and I show them my statistics. Okay, I sold over 3,000 properties. I sold them for 98% of list price. I sold them in an average of 62 days. I go blah 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 blah. The I's and the S's, they don't care. They want to know what kind of a person you are. Do you have a family? Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? How's everything? They want to feel good about you. These other individuals, the D's and the C's, it has to make sense to them. Even the language I use, does that make sense? And the I's and the S's, I say, how do you feel about that? again, on Wednesday, we're going to go into some details on this. I'm going to teach you and show you how this stuff works, and we're going to so that you get to apply it. Now, you may have some questions, okay? This session is going to be repeated at 2 o'clock today, all right? So spread the word to those people who missed it so they can get in on the afternoon session. And if anybody has any questions or comments, you can put it down at the chat bar over there. I'll take a look at it. And while you're thinking about any questions or anything like that, I'd like to give you some opportunities here, okay? First of all, look in your inbox, okay, for the part 2 on how to apply the personalities profiles, okay? And what I like to do is I like to give you a gift. If you go to my website, it's alexsineg.com. Over there, you can see right on the front page, it says get a free trial, and then it says get a free book. You can get this book. This book I wrote with Stephen Covey, Ken Blanchard, and Jack Canfield. 3 great, fantastic individuals. We co-authored this book. It has some really good ideas in there about how to, about success. And somebody asked me about personalities, how to take the test. Also, if you go onto my website, all right, alexsineg.com, there's an area there, it's called shopping or shop. You can look in there. There's the tests in there. There's also the book, Hey, You're Talking to Me, which I wrote together with Dr. Rome, the guru of the personality profiles. Him and I wrote this book together. The first half of the book teaching you about personalities, how to apply it, what to do and all that. The second half of the book I wrote specifically for realtors, okay? And it's a fantastic book. I get people, agents that take this book and keep it in the glove box of their car, and they read up on it before they go into an appointment. It's also available now as a Kindle version, as an ebook. They're both on my website. You can look under shopping and you can pick up that book. Also, if you're interested in talking to people about coaching, I've trained and coached thousands of agents over the last 32 years. If you need some specific help, or you need, there's a section there on the front page. You can click on it and get a free 30-minute coaching call with me, and I can help you. I can talk to you about your business. No obligation. Okay, I'm doing this for Associated Works, and I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to increase their business. And this is basically the whole session. I hope you all enjoyed the session. I hope you had a good time. I look forward to talking to you. I look forward to you getting the free book. I look forward to maybe meeting in the future at a live event or other training sessions. And make sure you log in for Wednesday. Wednesday I'm going to be doing the session on how to apply all this information. I'm going to giving you some more detailed information, some more brochures and more material to fill in. So make sure you attend. I want to thank everybody for being on the line. You can get a hold of me. You can go to my website, alexsineg.com. You can email me. You can text me. You can talk to me. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for all the people that shall remain nameless behind the scenes that put all of this on and put it together and help me with these awesome PowerPoint, because I'm not great at that. And I look forward to meeting you folks. So everybody take care. This is Alex Sineg signing off for now. Bye for now.